Alright, picture this. You're digging through your pocket change, maybe trying to scrounge up enough for a vending machine snack, and BM. You spot a penny. Looks ordinary, right? But what if I told you this little copper treasure could make you a millionaire? Yup, $1 million from a 2004 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy? Stick around, because I'm about to blow your mind with the story of this coin, why it's so valuable, and how you can hunt for one yourself. Okay, let's get into it. First, let's talk about what makes this 2004 Lincoln penny so special. Now, most pennies from this year aren't anything to write home about. But the ones without a mint mark, oh boy, they're the Beyoncé of pennies, super rare and totally fabulous. Why? Well, the no mint mark means this coin wasn't stamped with a letter that identifies where it was made, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. Most of the time, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but this particular batch was part of a limited and accidental run. That's right, someone at the mint had a major oops moment. And now? Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for this rare beauty. And by top dollar, I mean 7 figures. Let me say that again. This penny is worth $1 million. That's the kind of money that could buy you a house, a fancy car, or, I don't know, 100 million gumballs. Whatever floats your boat. Now, let me tell you about the time I got hooked on coin collecting. A few years back, my grandma handed me a jar of pennies. You never know what you might find, she said. I rolled my eyes, like, what could be so special about pennies? But one day, I found a wheat penny from 1914. It wasn't worth millions, but it got me curious. Next thing I know, I'm that person at the checkout line inspecting my change while the cashier stares at me like I'm nuts. Fast forward to today, and I've got a collection that's worth a pretty penny, pun absolutely intended. And let me tell you, finding a rare coin is like winning the lottery without buying a ticket. It's thrilling. So, why is this 2004 penny worth so much? It's all about supply and demand. Rare coins like this are a collector's dream, especially when they're in excellent condition. If you've got one sitting in your piggy bank, it could be your golden ticket. But here's the catch. Not every 2004 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. The big bucks come from coins in pristine condition, graded by experts as MS 68 or higher. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, it might still be worth something, but not a million. That's why condition is key. Check your change. Start with your loose coins. Look for 2004 Lincoln pennies and see if there's a mint mark. Trust me, your eyes will thank you if you think you've struck gold or copper. Get it professionally appraised. Coin hunting is like a treasure hunt, but without the pirates. Enjoy the process. The call to action. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth $1 million. It's proof that treasure can be hiding in the most unexpected places, even in your pocket change. Start digging through your coins, keep an eye out for that lucky penny, and if you find one, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I want to celebrate with you. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more treasure hunting strategies coming your way. Who knows? The next coin we talk about might be sitting in your wallet right now. What if I told you that somewhere, right now, in the pocket of an unsuspecting person, there could be a coin worth over $1 million? Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about the 1991 D Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble little penny that could change your life if you've got one. Now, before you go rushing to check every penny in your jar, stick with me for the next few minutes. I'm about to take you through everything you need to know about this rare little treasure and how to spot it. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, so first, let's set the scene. It's a regular day, and you're walking down the street, casually reaching into your pocket for some loose change. You pull out a penny. Maybe you notice it's a little shinier than usual, and without thinking twice, you toss it into your jar. Now, what if that penny, yes, the one that just made its way into your collection, was worth a cool $1 million? That's what's happening with the 1991 D penny. I know it sounds wild, but bear with me here. So, what makes this penny so special? The 1991 D penny is part of a very rare phenomenon. You see, most coins, especially pennies, are mass-produced, and their value is, well, not much. But this particular penny is an error coin, an example of something that shouldn't have happened, but did. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a penny be worth $1 million? It's because this coin has a unique minting mistake. The 1991 D penny was struck with an abnormal die, which means the image of Abraham Lincoln's face, normally crisp and clean, appeared off-center. So, it's kind of like the coin's face got a little squished in the minting process. This error is super rare, making the coin incredibly valuable to collectors, numismatists, and anyone with an eye for rare finds. Here's the kicker. Only a handful of these off-center 1991 D pennies exist, and they've been known to fetch anywhere between $500,000 to $1.1 million at auctions. So, you could literally be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. I mean, if you've got one of these pennies, you might want to start checking under your couch cushions more often. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how do I know if I've got one of these $1 million coins in my collection? Well, my friend, it's all about the details. Start by checking the mint mark on your penny. If it's a D, then you're in the right territory. Then, look closely at Lincoln's face. Is it a little off-center? Is there an odd distortion in the image? If so, you might have a coin worth much more than its face value. Here's the deal. If you do find one, don't just toss it in the change jar like I almost did. Take it to a professional coin grader. I learned this lesson the hard way. A few years ago, I had a friend, let's call him Dave, who thought he found an old coin that looked a little off. He tossed it in his drawer, thinking it was just a regular penny. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm flipping through a coin catalog when I see a photo of a 1991 D penny that looked exactly like Dave's. Turns out, Dave had a collector's dream just sitting there. By the time he realized what he had, the market value had shot up, and he could have made a fortune. Lesson learned, don't be like Dave. So, whether you're digging through your change jar, scouring through your coin collection, or just checking the coins in your pocket, keep an eye out for these rare finds. You never know when that humble little penny might make you a millionaire. Alright, so before you go rushing to dig through your couch cushions or ask your grandma for her penny jar, here's the final piece of advice. Always be on the lookout for those rare, off-center coins, especially the 1991 D penny. If you find one, it could be your ticket to something incredible. If you're enjoying learning about coins and want more tips, tricks, and insider strategies for finding coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more info to help you get rich, or at least a little wealthier, one penny at a time. Trust me, the treasure hunt is just beginning. So, keep those eyes peeled, and remember, the next $1 million coin might be just a penny away. Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground and wondered, is this little piece of copper worth more than just a cent? Well, today's episode is gonna make you look at your spare change in a whole new light. Cue dramatic music, because I'm about to tell you about a penny that's worth an insane amount of money. We're talking about a coin that could be worth over $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Over $1 million for just one penny. Stick around, and you might just be checking your pockets a little more closely from now on. So, before we dive into the mind-blowing numbers, let's talk about this mysterious coin. We're talking about the 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, pennies, let's be honest, are usually not the most exciting coins, right? They're small, they're copper, and they're typically more trouble than they're worth when you've got to dig through your pockets or purse to find them. But hold up, this specific penny? It's got a superpower. If you've got a 2017 penny with the D Mint mark on it, which stands for the Denver Mint, you might be holding on to more than just pocket lint. We're talking about a rare error penny that could be worth millions. Insert gasps from the audience. You see, the 2017 D penny was supposed to have a normal design, with good old Abe Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, just like most pennies. But here's the kicker. Some of these pennies were struck with a unique and very rare error. The result? A small, but mighty, double die obverse error. Now, you don't need to be a coin expert to understand that this means a double image of Abraham Lincoln appeared on some of these pennies. It's like the mint had a little too much coffee that day and just couldn't quite get Abe's face right. If you've got one of these bad boys in your collection, congratulations, you've got a potential gold mine. These rare errors have made headlines because of their market value. In fact, Some of them have sold for up to $1.2 million. Can you imagine holding a penny in your hand and thinking, wait, is this a house? Or is this a car? That's the type of thinking you need when you spot a penny like this. Let's talk about the specifics. The key to identifying these valuable coins lies in the double die error. It's tricky to spot, but it's definitely there if you know what to look for. The extra image of Lincoln's face will appear blurry and doubled, usually around the area of his cheek and neck. It's a subtle flaw, but once you know it's there, you can't unsee it. If you're thinking, well, I don't even know what a double die is, don't worry. It's a minting error where the coin dies, the stamps that shape the coin, were misaligned, causing the image to be struck twice. How do I find one of these million-dollar pennies? Well, it's not as easy as strolling down to the nearest bank and asking for a roll of 2017 pennies. Sadly, the world doesn't work like that. But there are a few things you can do. First, check your change jar, your couch cushions, and even your car. I mean, you might not find a $1.2 million penny in there, but who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. Second, if you're serious about collecting rare coins, it might be worth your time to start searching for 2017 pennies at coin shops, auctions, and online marketplaces. But be careful. There's a lot of counterfeit coins floating around, so you want to make sure you get your penny authenticated by a professional if you think you've found one. And here's the thing. This isn't some random fluke. There are real collectors out there who spend years hunting for these kinds of pennies. It's a bit like hunting for treasure, but without having to dig up your backyard or sail to some remote island. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a coin shop browsing through bins of coins, mostly just for fun. I didn't expect anything too special, but I had a feeling. You know, that gut feeling that maybe today's the day you'll strike gold. Or in my case, strike a penny of gold. I picked up a few 2017 pennies, just out of curiosity, and kept one in my pocket. A couple of weeks later, I got it checked by a coin expert. Turns out, I didn't have a $1.2 million penny, but I did find a rare variety worth a few $100. It wasn't a fortune, but hey, it was a win. So yeah, keep those eyes peeled. Okay, folks, I hope you now realize that the world of coin collecting isn't as boring as we sometimes think. A penny that you casually toss into a jar could end up being worth more than most of us make in a year. If you ever find a 2017 penny with that double die error, don't just toss it back into your change jar. That tiny little coin could set you up for some serious cash. But before you go rummaging through your spare change, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more tips on coins, rare finds, and strategies to turn your pocket change into treasure. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos. You might just find a coin worth a fortune hiding in your couch cushions. So hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you've learned something new today, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Maybe you've got a penny that's worth more than its weight in gold? Let me know. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next coin millionaire. You ever find an old penny lying around and think, hey, is this worth anything? Well, what if I told you that a 1980 penny, the one you probably tossed in the jar with the rest of your loose change, could actually be worth, drumroll, please, $1.30 million. I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? A penny? Really? Yep, you heard me right. This penny could be worth a small fortune. And trust me, after you hear the story, you'll be checking every penny you have just to make sure it's not a hidden treasure, so grab a seat, keep your change handy, and let's dive into the crazy, mind-blowing world of the 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Alright, let's set the scene. Picture this. It's 1980, and the US Mint is working at full capacity, cranking out all kinds of pennies. But wait, here's the twist. A few pennies were made that year without the usual mint mark on the back. No D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just plain old Lincoln, the man, the legend, and no mint mark to be found. Now, why does this matter, you ask? Well, for coin collectors, something like this is like finding a needle in a haystack. A penny that was supposed to have a mint mark, but doesn't? That's a mistake. And as we all know, mistakes can sometimes be worth a whole lot more than the original thing. But here's where it gets even crazier. There's a rare and very specific 1980 penny, one with no mint mark, and it's one of the most valuable coins in the world. This little copper nugget could fetch upwards of $1.3 million if it's in good condition. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. This is the real deal, so why is this penny worth so much? Well, here's the kicker. Mint errors like this are considered incredibly rare and sought after. In a typical year, there are hundreds of thousands, even millions, of pennies minted with clear mint marks. But this one slipped through the cracks. And when something slips through the cracks, you better believe it's going to be noticed by the pros. Now, let me throw a little story your way to help you understand just how big a deal this is. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, because who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? And I remember finding a jar of old coins, just sitting there, dusty and waiting for someone to buy them for like a buck or two. Nothing special, or so I thought. But something caught my eye, an old penny that looked kind of off. At first, I thought it was just a worn-out 1980 penny. But something about it seemed different. So I did what any curious collector would do. I ran it through a magnifying glass. Okay, fine. It was a fancy phone app, but you get the point. And lo and behold, there it was. No mint mark. I was shaking. I ran back to the table, checked the price tag, and bought the whole jar for less than the cost of a sandwich. Turns out, it wasn't the $1.3 million penny, but I did find a few cool coins that were worth way more than the price I paid. Moral of the story? Always double-check your change, because you never know when you might strike gold. But how do you know if your 1980 penny is worth anything? First, check for the obvious. Does it have a mint mark or not? Next, is it in good condition? A penny in great shape, we're talking about one that's basically shiny and uncirculated, is worth way more than one that's been through the laundry a few too many times. And finally, look for any other small defects or oddities that could make the coin stand out. Maybe it's got a weird pattern or a mistake in the design. That could be another sign of value. If you've got a penny from 1980 with no mint mark in your collection, it's time to start doing some research. Find out if it's a legit error and get it appraised by a professional. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a gold mine. So, if you've learned anything from today, it's this: never underestimate a penny. Sure, it may seem like pocket change, but in the right circumstances, it can be worth more than you could ever imagine. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to stumble upon that elusive $1.3 million penny. Or, at the very least, you'll have a cool coin to show off to your friends. But hey, don't stop here. If you want more tips on coins worth money and strategies for building your own collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips coming your way, and you won't want to miss out on the next treasure hunt. And hey, if you find a 1980 penny with no mint mark, send me a pic. I want to see your lucky find. Ever found a penny in your pocket, gave it a quick glance, and tossed it aside? Well, what if I told you that your next penny could be worth a small fortune? I know, you're thinking, sure, buddy, and my change is also full of gold. But seriously, if you have a 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might want to take a second look, because this little copper coin could be worth up to $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.4 million. So, buckle up, grab your magnifying glass, and let's talk about the 1971 penny that might just make you rich. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1971 mint mark penny isn't just your average everyday coin. If you've been collecting coins, or even just casually checking out pennies from your change jar, you might have noticed a little letter on the coin, right? It's that small S near the date, indicating it was minted in San Francisco. But here's where things get wild. Most of these pennies from 1971 were made in Philadelphia, with only a small batch produced in San Francisco. And guess what? That small batch, has some major value. Now, before you go running to dig through every penny you have, let me clear something up. This penny isn't rare just because it has an S on it. No. The reason this 1971 mint penny is so valuable is that it was struck with a major error, a proof coin mistake. Proof coins are special, high-quality coins that are meant for collectors. But this one was accidentally released into circulation, creating a rare gem. A coin that was never supposed to end up in your pocket, but somehow did. Talk about a happy accident. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but how do I know if my penny is worth something? Great question. Let's break it down. First off, you need to look at the coin closely. Take out your trusty magnifying glass. Don't have one? Get one. It's cheap and fun to use. The most important thing you're looking for is the S mint mark, and you want to make sure that it's crisp and clear. But here's the catch. Most of the 1971's pennies that were minted were struck perfectly fine, and they're not worth much. You're looking for the rare error coin, the one that has been dubbed a double die variety. This means the design on the coin appears doubled, and it's easy to spot, especially around the date and lettering. If your penny looks like it's been stamped twice, you could have a gold mine in your hands. Now, to give you some perspective, here's where the crazy part comes in. The highest known sale of a 1971's double die penny went for $1.4 million at auction. So, if you've got one of these rare error coins, you might just be looking at your ticket to an early retirement. Or at least a really nice vacation. I gotta admit, when I first started collecting coins, I was way more into the idea of finding something rare than actually knowing what I was looking for. I remember once I was at a family reunion, and I found an old penny in my uncle's coin jar. I was like, here it is. This is the one. I couldn't wait to show everyone. I ran over to my cousin, pointed to the coin, and said, "This is gonna make me rich." He looked at me like I was crazy and said, "Dude, that's just a regular 1981 penny." Turns out I was more into wishful thinking than actual knowledge. But hey, it's all part of the learning process, right? So, fast forward to today, and I know exactly what to look for. It's all about that double die, baby. If you find it, your pocket change could suddenly turn into a money-making machine. So, to wrap it up, the 1971's mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is no ordinary penny. If you come across one of these coins with a double die error, you could be holding on to something worth a small fortune. Whether it's worth $1.4 million or a few $100s, these error pennies are rare and highly sought after by collectors, and you might just have one hiding in your collection. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I find these rare pennies? Well, it's all about paying attention and knowing what to look for. Make sure you're checking those coins carefully, and don't just toss them into your jar without a second thought. And hey, if you want more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding valuable coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future coin hunting tips and stories. Who knows, the next treasure I talk about could be worth even more than $1.40 million. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep hunting for those rare coins. Your next big find could be sitting right under your nose. You're digging through a jar of pennies, just looking for some spare change, when suddenly you spot something that looks a little different. It's a 2020 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, hold on to your seats because that little coin could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.50 million. And no, I'm not messing with you. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this rare penny, how to spot it, and why it's worth a fortune. Alright, let's get into it. First off, let's talk about why this 2020 Lincoln penny is so special. Now, when you hear 2020, you might think, that's not so rare, is it? After all, it's a coin minted in a recent year. But this isn't just any old penny. It's the 2020 mint mark penny, and here's where it gets juicy. There was a major error during production in 2020 that makes certain Lincoln pennies worth big bucks. You see, this penny is supposed to have a small, subtle D mint mark, which tells you it was made in Denver. But because of a mistake in the minting process, some of these coins came out looking different, and that, my friend, is exactly what makes them so valuable. The rare ones have a very faint or double D mint mark, and those are the ones that are fetching hundreds, even millions of dollars in the market. But before you go running to check your piggy bank, let me tell you, it's not as simple as picking out any 2020 penny. No, there are very specific conditions that make a penny worth that kind of money. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but it's worth the search. Now, to give you a little context, let me share a story. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, like the kind where you find old dishes, random knickknacks, and maybe a handful of mismatched socks, and I spotted a jar of loose change on a table. I asked the owner, "How much for the coins?" She looked at me, shrugged, and said, "Take him all for $1." I thought, sure, why not? Maybe I'll find a cool coin to add to my collection. Well, guess what? I found a rare 1955 double-die penny in that jar, worth over $10,000. No joke. I nearly dropped the jar right there in front of her. I kept my cool, paid my dollar, and walked away feeling like I just hit the jackpot. It's moments like that that get me pumped about coins, and let me tell you, this 2020 D penny is definitely a coin worth hunting for. First, it's all about the D mint mark. Check the penny closely, especially the mint mark near the bottom right of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. If it's faint, double, or even misaligned, you might be looking at a gem. The error could vary from a small doubling of the D to a more noticeable variety. Either way, the rarer the error, the higher the value. Next, let's talk about the condition. This is key. Even if you have one of these pennies with the misprinted mint mark, the condition it's in will make a huge difference. If it's been in circulation for years, it's probably not going to fetch a fortune. But if it's in mint or near mint condition, well, you've got yourself a winner. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what if I don't have $1 million penny in my pocket? Well, don't sweat it. There are plenty of other rare coins out there just waiting for you to find them. From old quarters to silver dollars, the world of coins is full of surprises. So, what's the best strategy for finding rare coins like this 2020 D penny? It's all about staying on the lookout. Start by checking your spare change whenever you can. Visit coin shops, attend coin shows, or even keep an eye on online auctions. The more you know, the better chance you have of finding a valuable coin. And trust me, it's the thrill of the hunt that makes it so fun. All right, folks, I hope you're as excited about the potential of a $1.5 million penny as I am. Remember, not all 2020 D pennies are worth that much, but knowing what to look for is the first step to finding some serious treasure. Before I let you go, I've got a challenge for you. Go check your penny jar or wallet right now. You never know. You could be sitting on a small fortune. If you find something cool, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear about your coin hunting adventures. And hey, if you want more tips on rare coins, strategies for finding hidden treasures, or just some fun coin stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the valuable knowledge coming your way. I'll see you in the next video. Happy hunting, and remember, it's not just about the coins, it's about the adventure. Alright, so let's jump right into this. You've probably seen a million pennies in your life, right? It's the most common coin, hanging around in the bottom of your purse, collecting lint, or getting stuck in the couch cushions alongside that old TV remote you keep meaning to find. And yeah, they're worth, what, a cent? That's not even enough for a gumdrop these days. But what if I told you there's one penny, a 2006 D mint mark penny, that could be worth a small fortune? Seriously, we're talking about $1.6 million. Million? That's enough to buy a pretty sweet car or, I don't know, start your own private island. So, how did this little copper coin become so valuable? Well, there's actually a good reason. In 2006, the US Mint was doing its regular thing, minting tons of pennies with different mint marks. But a few slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation with some errors. And guess what? One of those errors involves a coin with a 2006 D mint mark. Now, let's back up. The US Mint in Denver, which is where the D mint mark comes from, was pumping out these pennies, but they made an oopsie. The error involved something called a double die. Without getting too deep into coin jargon, it basically means that part of the design on the coin was struck twice, which caused some letters and numbers to look more bold and pronounced than they were supposed to. These misprints, called double die errors, are extremely rare, and that's what makes them valuable. A normal 2006 D penny might be worth a penny, but a double die version of the same coin could be worth up to $1.6 million if it's in mint condition. I know, you're probably thinking, how the heck do I even find one of those? Don't worry, I'm about to break it down for you. First of all, let's talk about the mint condition part. If your penny is all beat up, scratched, or covered in dirt from being in the bottom of a jar for the last 20 years, it's probably not going to make you a millionaire. But if you come across a 2006 D penny that looks almost perfect, like it just rolled out of the mint, that's your clue it could be a winner. The more pristine it is, the higher the value. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't want to go around inspecting every penny in my pocket. Well, don't worry. You don't have to go on a coin hunting mission just yet. If you're not sure if your penny is worth a fortune, you can always take it to a coin expert or dealer. There are plenty of folks out there who can authenticate and value your coin, and it'll be worth the investment if you have, this whole thing actually reminds me of when I was younger, probably around 10 years old, just casually collecting pennies because, hey, why not? I had this whole jar of pennies, and I'd sometimes look through it when I was bored, thinking I might have accidentally found something valuable. One day, I came across what I thought was a rare coin. It was a penny, but it had some weird marks on it. I rushed to show my dad, excitedly explaining how this penny could be worth millions. He looked at it and said, "Son, that's not rare. It's just been through the laundry." Classic dad response, right? But hey, I had big dreams. So, remember, if your coin looks too good to be true, it might just be dirty laundry. But seriously, folks, finding a rare penny like this 2060 double die isn't completely impossible. Keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in that old jar of change you've got stashed away. If you've got a 2060 penny, you might want to take a closer look. It could be worth a fortune if it's the double die error type. And remember, mint condition is key. If you happen to find one, don't just toss it in your piggy bank without checking its worth first. But hey, don't get discouraged if you don't find one right away. There are always more coins out there, and we're constantly on the lookout for the next big discovery. So, if you want to stay up to date on tips for finding coins worth money, strategies for hunting down valuable pieces, and just more cool facts about the coin world, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the next treasure waiting to be uncovered in your pocket change.